previously on St. Elsewhere.
I think I'm falling in love with you, lady.
This is Dr. Kiem. She will be chief of surgery while I'm gone.
One of you numbskulls mismanaged his meds. Who was the last one in the room with this patient? Ah, Loyalty. Good to see. Get out.
Okie dokie. Let's get down to business. Like the old memoirs. Chapter 1.
You're John Doe. You lived on our psych ward. You would spend months searching for your identity.
I was drunk.
You said you were.
You took advantage of me.
I told you you'd hate me.
Would happen eventually.
All right, defib, 300 watts. Clear. All right, 1 amp empty on that cardiac needle go directly into his heart.
He's not gonna make it. Don't say that. No response, still in defib.
Call Catherine.
Oh, no, we should keep going.
You only thought we'd lost him. Daniel's dead. Number 7 blade and a rib spreader. Back open his chest. Squeeze some life into that withered heart. Get the hell out of my way. No one will buy this. Off course again. Boy. What I need is some fresh air. I'll drive to the Cape. Nah, I'll go to the cafeteria. many years can the people exist before they're allowed to be free? Hello, Mark. How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just can't see? Bob Dylan, that boy can really crank out a tune.
How you feeling, Daniel?
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How are the memoirs?
Going great. I was just working on a chapter about laser angiography that will redefine cardiac care in the 90s.
Sounds fascinating.
There's one thing, though. I'm thinking faster than I'm typing. Can you find me a part-time secretary?
They're called assistants now.
Spare me. Just get one over to my office, stacked.
Gee, a guy can't make a subtle fashion segue around here without everybody going into Grand Mal.
You're about as subtle as tear gas.
I'm trying to do something for the kids in pediatrics. Visual awareness, stimulation while I read to them. Today is going to be Zane Grey.
I can't wait to see your outfit for Little Women.
Beer and Skittles, Ames Plow Tavern, 8 o'clock.
Dr. Griffin, hold up a minute.
I know. I'm crazy climbing aboard a rocket like that without a skid lid.
Excuse me?
The helmet, I should know better. My car's in the garage.
Ah. You had a patient die a couple of days ago, John O'Connor?
Yeah, he was admitted with head trauma. Went into cardiac arrest.
I was going through the paperwork. Something I do with first-year residents on a hit-or-miss basis, and your charting procedure is haphazard at best.
Really?
Cause of death isn't clear. The rest of the patient information is sketchy. Did you do an autopsy?
Yes.
The report's not in the file.
It isn't? That's funny. I asked Dr. Birch.
I don't want any excuses, Doctor. Mr. O'Connor was your patient. I don't think it's the responsibility of another resident to make sure that the paperwork's in order, do you?
No, of course not.
I've decided to have this case reviewed at the M&M conference later on today. And I suggest you get that file in order by then. You know, you were the top pick for the residency program this year. You have terrific potential, but you're off to a lousy start.
I'll finish strong.
Yeah. Good. And stay off motorcycles.
Possible fracture, femur, contusions, and lacerations. Neighbors found her at the bottom of the stairs. I'll get her vitals.
Pregnant, how far along?
She ruptured membranes on the way in. Must be determined, Tex.
Notify neonatal, get them down here stat. I'm gonna need a portable x-ray and a fetal monitor.
BP's 100/70.
Winger's lactate wide open, start another line normal saline. Call the blood bank.
She's a Jehovah's Witness. No blood transfusions.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Wayne,
3 units Paxil.
it's not necessary. She's stable right now.
Fine. We'll wait for somebody from neonatal to get down here. And in the meantime, if she starts to hemorrhage, we'll just sit around, we'll have a beer, and we'll watch her bleed to death.
It's about time.
You got a pulse?
Can't find one. Tell you something else that was tough to find.
Please don't start, Lucy.
Oh, are we keeping you up?
It's D-Fib, 300 watts.
You know, I look forward to the day you're whistling the sonata flatline in C major. Charge 300 watts.
Clear.
Let's go again.
No kidding, twerp.
Boy, am I sorry I went with you to that baklava blowout.
Well, that makes 2 of us. Ready.
Clear. All right, let's start CPR.
Resuscitation mouthpiece.
Don't have one.
Lucy!
Let's go, Victor.
Oh, look what I found. A mouthpiece.
Hey, no problem. I've had worse things in my mouth.
I mean, what a breeze.
You know, someday, Donald, when you get around to authoring that play you've been meaning to write, I hope the muse sits on your shoulder as securely as she sits on mine.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Mark.
I need your help, though. I asked Daniel for a part-time typist. He nods, says sure. But let's face facts. The man's not very effective anymore as chief of services.
That's not true, and you know it. And besides, you know how short-handed we are administratively, and I don't think it's fair to burden Daniel by doing personal favors for you.
Listen, I could run my department, his department, and your department with more efficiency. Boy, don't look for your name in Chapter 14. Associates I admire.
Are you sure the baby's okay?
As far as I can tell, there's no sign of distress on the monitor, but your fall has sent you into spontaneous labor.
The stairs in our building are very steep. My husband's always reminding me to be careful.
Hang on.
Did you reach my husband?
Not yet, but we're trying. Mary, your baby is breech, which means it's turned upside down in the womb. I have to perform a cesarean section.
Oh, it's all my fault. How could I have been so stupid?
Your fall has nothing to do with the position of the baby. You know, sometimes the fetus turns back again. But because labor's already begun, a vaginal delivery would be too dangerous for you and the baby.
Okay. Do it.
There's one concern I have. Should there be any complications during the delivery?
No transfusions.
We can't help you, Mary, if you won't let us do what's necessary.
If I use another's blood orally, intravenously, Jehovah will set his face against me.
I believe in the scriptures, too. But Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John had no way of anticipating today's medical progress.
It's difficult for me to explain my love for God. But he has proven his word to me time and time again.
Shown me some things along the way, too.
My husband and I want to have a large family, Dr. Turner. I can't let this, my first child, defile the word of the Lord.
I'll need you to sign a consent form releasing St. Eligius from liability.
I'll sign it if you promise me.
You have my word. Now let's get you to OR.
Slow down.
Can't. Late to run Miss Clayman's CAT scan.
You don't care Westfall is gut-busting over O'Connor's cause of death?
Not really. How come this has you so upset?
Westfall says he goes through the charts randomly. That's baloney. Now, Navino must have whispered something to him last night. She was there when O'Connor punched out, remember? She knows you force-fed him the Dilantin.
I was doing you a favor. You said just push the meds in, don't worry. Mr. O'Connor had a bad reaction. You know, it's not like I blew a hole in his head and took his wallet.
But you buried a lot of the paperwork.
Also at your suggestion.
Westfall is screaming for the autopsy report.
Look, what's the worst that can happen? He can't figure out the cause of death. Maybe gives you a little heat for patient mismanagement.
You're right. What am I so wired about? You're the one Navino's out to get.
Her word against mine, Seth. There's no paperwork with my signature on it. Except the pharmacy log at the nurse's station.
That's it? That's the only place?
Yes.
Well, don't worry. I'll make sure your name disappears.
But why are you helping me?
Navino got me in trouble with Westfall. Now it's time for payback.
Looks like Cinderella lost her magic slipper.
Oh, you're a real prince, Ehrlich.
I'm first.
I'm sorry I'm late. I'll be right with you people.
Take your time, ma'am. No need to rush. Not that I can't wait for rounds to begin with you. Medicine's always a pleasure. What?
It's become Pavlovian.
You hear the voice of authority and you automatically start brown-nosing.
Worse, his head was halfway up Kim's gastro tract.
Dr. Kim's been having a rough time lately, commuting back and forth to Maryland, living under the shadow of my mentor, Dr. Craig. I feel sorry for her.
Well, take a pill and get over it.
No, Lucy. For once, I think Victor's being sincere.
He doesn't know the meaning of the word.
Listen, honey, when I brought you home from Grandma Papandreou's birthday...
Back off, bunny
and we
eyes.
jitterbugged on your silly
Dry
posturepedic.
up, Ehrlich.
My sincerity was about the last thing you wanted to wrap your arms around. Wait, Lucy. Lucy, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, first case.
How are you feeling?
Pretty good for a man who's going to die soon.
I'm afraid so.
But there's one question I've yet to answer.
What's that?
Who's going to head up the hospital after I'm gone? There's only one man who can rise to the challenge.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm honored.
Mark Craig, send for him.
Sure. Let me fluff your pillow first, huh?
I just heard.
You're too late.
Well, I guess you're the head of the hospital now.
That was Daniel's wish.
Come on in. Come on in.
Mark, your prayers are answered. I found you a steno. Typist, a sponge.
You sure you're feeling okay, Daniel?
Oh, yes. Meet John Doe.
Oh, for crying out loud. The man's a walking trademark for Looney Tunes. No offense.
None taken.
Dr. West and I have discussed this appointment thoroughly. Working with you would be excellent therapy for John.
You see, Dr. C, I'm striving to accept who I am. I've even decided to change my name legally to Doe.
Isn't he a dear?
You know, Donald should have bumped you off a long time ago.
No longer will I dally with other people's personalities. Instead, I'll strive for one of my own. New man of strength, independence.
Shut up.
Yes, sir.
You type?
90 words.
A minute?
Start talking.
Shouldn't you sit down at the typewriter first?
That's a good idea. You see, that's the kind of thinking I'm here to absorb.
The intricate interrelationship of myocardial ischemia. Ischemia is characterized by a reduction of myocardial ATP stores. Beta-adrenergic blockers reduce receptor-operated channels, subsequently antagonizing myocardial calcium ion complex.
Then what?
You stay, you go.
Rightus, you're so temperamental.
After myocardial ischemia and subsequent reperfusion,
Hi. You're in the middle of your gastro-rotation, right? I'm having trouble reading pancreatitis from this upper GI. Susan? Would you help me?
You've got the wrong film up. You need the x-ray taken after the patient was given glucagon.
Great outfit. I look washed out in pastels.
You looking for a fashion consult, too? Pancreatitis. Glucagon relaxes the small bowel. The head of the pancreas leaves an impression if it's edematous.
You think it's edematous?
Don't take my word for it. Ask your bunkie, Westfall.
How come you're so mad at me? What have I ever done to you?
I busted my butt in medical school.
So did I.
No, you didn't. You got here on a free ride. And everyone knows it.
Oh, jeez, I'm tired.
Is it true what I've heard about you and Lucy?
I don't want to talk about it.
Of course you want to talk about it, Victor.
I feel catatonic.
Whoa. Ha ha, make the joke. Heard 'em all. Giddy up, partner. Where's the posse? Head 'em off at the pass.
No, I like it. I like it. Where'd you buy the duds?
Shlomo's Western World. You know, history hasn't recorded the contribution of the Jewish cowboy to the settling of the American frontier.
You know, blacks had a lot to do with taming the Old West, too. Maybe I should go to, Shlomo's, buy myself some Western gear.
Will you two get out of here? Some things are just private.
Right, private. Alert the media.
Listen, for a guy who dresses like he was spanked by John Wayne, you should have a lot of opinions.
Locked out?
No, I'm just waiting.
How's the rehabilitation?
Dex is feeling pretty good.
And the book?
I've got a madman in there who's typing faster than I can think.
You know, whenever my student nurses start chomping at the bit and moving ahead with more alacrity than I can handle, I always tell them to go to lunch.
Joe, go to lunch.
Where are we eating?
Alone.
Oh, Dr. Craig.
I wouldn't worry about Birch. She's just flexed out of shape because she knocked the O'Connor case out.
And Susan really thinks we turn her in.
She thinks we're the enemy out there gunning for her. But what am I going to say to Westfall when he asks for cause of death?
Let the record speak for itself. If it incriminates her, it's not your fault.
That's good advice. I gotta stop and check the pharmacy log. I can't remember if I gave Mrs. Welch her propranolol.
Hi, Lucy. Heard about you and Victor.
Who hasn't?
Well, I know what you're going through. The grief I take because Donald and I are dating. I could tell you stories.
Already heard them all.
Funny thing about sex and work.
Sex is work, and I'm not laughing.
Scusi. Need to gander at the pharmacy log.
Pleasure reading?
Just want to make sure something didn't slip by. Lucy, could you make sure I get a copy of this page for my files?
Sure.
Ehrlich?
Oh.
Poor lad. Labor and delivery's out of the way for you.
We need to talk and finish scrubbing.
Make sure the incubator's cozy and have neonatal ICU standing by.
I've received a complaint from Dr. Kochar.
I knew I should have gone with Morgan as an anesthesiologist.
Dr. Kochar is concerned about assisting on a surgery he considers extremely risky.
DJ is a whiner.
In any case, I agree with this assessment. Without the option of a transfusion, surgery is too risky for both the child and the mother.
I hear you, Paulette. You think I'm thrilled having to operate with one hand tied behind my scrubs? But Mary Wilson has the right to refuse treatment.
Of course she does. But what about that little baby's rights?
Oh, boy. That's just what I need. Another piece of baggage to take in the next room.
I want to make sure you've considered all sides.
This is a matter of faith for Mary.
In her God.
And me.
Mark, I want to talk to you about the hospital and where it's going.
Not now, I'm busy.
As you know, I don't have long to live, and I want you to succeed me.
You okay? Oh, for Pete's sake, Daniel, I just had that reupholstered. Oh, my God. No. 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 No.
Did you hear? Daniel's dead.
Oh, my God.
You know what that means?
Catherine's a widow?
Don't be a sap. I'm the new chief of services. Quiet, you're dead too, Buster.
No! No! No!
Have you heard what happened?
Daniel is dead.
Yes. You know what that means?
Donald is head of the hospital.
No. You are. And Dr. Craig, I've always loved you more than Donald.
I didn't know Donald loved me. I can't.
I'm afraid any time Donald's gonna find out how I feel, I need you to stop his consuming drive for power so that the two of us...
I just heard.
You're too late. Wait a minute. Come in.
Back from my lunch break. I had the white fish with hollandaise sauce, a little bread pudding on the side.
Who cares?
Right, of course. No more need be said. I know my place.
So, you've typed 2 chapters already.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you mean, well?
Well, far be it from me to criticize.
You hated it.
No.
You love it.
No.
Then what?
Look, I thought you were penning an autobiography. Exploits from the fascinating life of one of America's great heart surgeons. But this reads like a textbook. A good textbook. I found out more about mitral valve replacements than I ever wanted to know.
Yeah, well, so who made you the editor of the book review? Well, I want you to sit down there and pound those picas. I'll pound you to Topeka.
Yes, sir. I didn't mean any disrespect.
Chapter 3. Vasospastic angina and me.
And I.
Whatever.
Dr. Griffin, you will present the next case.
O'Connor, John, 51-year-old white male, initially admitted with head trauma and post-traumatic hemiparesis, later developed intractable seizures.
Cause of death?
Cardiac arrest.
That's the event, Doctor. What was the cause?
Well,
This file is practically empty, and the few pages that are here are virtually meaningless. Now, the record of the nurse's pharmacy log shows that the patient received 300 milligrams of Dilantin IV before the arrest.
Can you tell us something about the injection of that drug?
well, too rapid an injection can lead to hypotension and depressed myocardial function.
After giving the injection, did you monitor the patient's vitals?
No, Dr. Westphal.
Why?
Well, actually...
It says here that the Dilantin was administered by Dr. Birch.
Susan, can you enlighten us?
Dr. Griffin was busy. He asked me to give Mr. O'Connor the injection.
And are you also aware of the hospital procedure for administering Dilantin?
Of course, 20 milligrams a minute. I took Mr. O'Connor's BP. He didn't show any adverse signs.
What about the autopsy report, Dr. Griffin?
Well, we looked everywhere, and apparently it was misplaced by...
The pharmacy log indicates you signed out the meds at 6:55 a.m. What time did O'Connor code?
7:15, 7:20?
No. He coded at 7 a.m.
To properly administer 300 milligrams should have taken you another 10 minutes.
She's wrong about the time.
Susan, I think she's right. Remember, you passed me in the hall on my way to the John. You said you were hungry, you're headed for the cafeteria, but you said you'd do me the favor.
Dr. Novino, what have you got to do with this?
I was at the O'Connor code when Dr.
What? When I murdered the guy?
All right. I'm not exactly sure what happened with this patient, but Dr. Auslan and I will see all three of you in my office after this conference.
Let's move on to the next case, please.
Patient's name is Marge Greenhut. Dr. Jacek will present
Number 3 blade. I'm completing the low transverse incision in the uterus. Hopefully there'll be less blood loss.
I read somewhere that Michael Jackson's a Jehovah's Witness.
Hard to imagine him passing out the watchtower.
Article says he goes all the way, even door-to-door fancy footwork.
How many people you think tell him to beat it?
Dr. Turner, I've got 4 units of O-positive blood here.
I didn't order that.
Dr. Kim did.
Take it back. Retractor. Jackie, I need some help with fundal pressure here.
Dr. Kim speaks very good English. Made it clear she wants this blood here. Somebody's got to sign.
Get him off my back. VJ, I know this was your idea. Okay, Jackie, pull back on the retractor. Well, hang on, that cord wrapped around his neck. Here's the head. Jackie, clamp the cord. Clamped and clipped. Oh, you were as big as a butterball turkey. Sing for me. How's Mary doing?
BP is 80/62 and starting to drop.
Jackie, massage the fundus. We have to stimulate contractions and expel the placenta. That'll stop the bleeding. I'm having trouble delivering the placenta. She must have an accretia.
Blood pressure's still falling.
Come on, Mary, little baby needs a mama.
Ooh. Just arrived. Delivery man said that for you.
For me? Oh, I've never gotten flowers before. Hey, there's no card.
Must be from Victor.
Oh. Exploding bouquet.
Maybe it's his way of apologizing. Victor's He's got a good heart.
I have been taunted and sneered at by every white coat in this hospital.
Okay, so the guy opened his mouth when he shouldn't have.
Admit it, Lucy, you've got a short fuse and a quick tongue. I have seen you chew him up, spit him out in front of everybody.
Maybe his feelings got hurt. At least he's trying to make it up to you. Anyways, Mr. Heinsbergen in 3016 is febrile again. Restrict him to ice chips.
At least he didn't cheap out on the floral arrangement.
I don't expect special treatment, Donald.
That's right. Well, why the hell didn't you tell me about the O'Connor case?
I didn't actually see Birch give the injection.
Do you know a man may have died because of a physician's negligence?
Because you and I are dating, I'm supposed to be your secret police. Hard enough fitting in. I'm 8 years older than most of them. Without the support of the other first years, I'd be doomed around here.
Most important of all, Dr. Nobino, is the patient.
Not my place to blow the whistle.
Well, just how many people does this woman have to kill before you feel it's your place?
That's all, Dr. Nobino. Please send Dr. Griffin in.
I feel really bad about this.
Sit down.
The uterus is still bleeding. Resection. She's lost an awful lot of blood.
BP 68/40.
Damn, the placenta's not separating.
Pulse has dropped to 80. This woman's in trouble, Roxanne.
I know that.
We still have 4 units O positive on hold.
I got 2 choices here. Either perform a hysterectomy and stop the bleeding, or break my word and give Mary blood. Turn the saline wide open.
That isn't going to help Roxanne. She's lost half her blood volume.
I have no choice.
Mom, you're back?
I got my umbrella.
Be careful. Dangerous night out.
I don't know what you meant by that. This treatment must be continued for at least several weeks. Oh, my God, he's dead. No sedimentation. Joe. Hey, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor.
Really held your interest, didn't it?
I started to drift off during the Penn years.
Whole damn thing is boring.
Not at all, Dr. Craig. That stuff about atrioventricular node disease made me chortle.
I try writing the way my life really happened, and it's a snore, even to me. Then I start to fictionalize, and it becomes cheap. I mean, I'm wasting my time, and yours, if that's possible. Why I ever thought I could write is beyond me. I mean, people said it'd be easy, but, you know, a verb, a noun, sprinkle in a few adjectives. Write what you know. Huh. I mean, to take a personal event and to have the guts to expose yourself in front of millions, and then to have that event touch their lives. Shh. Don't shush me. This is my office.
We're on to something.
Oh, you're crazy.
Be that as it may. But if you can keep shoveling out trash like this, we got a bestseller on our hands.
Hmm?
This is gold.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I'm damn good. Take this down. Her shapely legs straddled my gurney. Sure. I'm a surgeon, and a great one at that. But I knew that showing this babe how to operate would take more than a tank of nitrous.
Oh, Lucy. Scared the bejeepers out of me.
Ehrlich, it's time for a talk.
Yeah. Sitting duck, fire away.
I liked it. I liked the sex.
Pinch me, I must be dreaming. Ow!
Sit there and listen. We were pretty good together, but something about that scared me. You see, I haven't been close to a man for a long time. And I was freaked out that you were the one.
Me too. Oh. Sorry.
Listen, I've been terrible to you ever since we slept together. Well, of course, it's not as if we ever got along in the first place.
Except like you said.
Or that time that we operated together during the nurses' strike.
Oh. Sorry.
Listen, what I'm trying to say is I know we can work well together, regardless of the friction.
Well, there's always bound to be a little chafing.
Yeah, we shouldn't let it affect our performance.
No, indeedy. Where would you like to perform next?
Well, here, in the hospital.
Fine and dandy. Don't mind me.
Is that why you sent me flowers, so I'd offer a truce and you can hit on me?
I didn't send any flowers. You just said we worked well together.
I didn't mean that way. I meant we should be civil to each other.
Bad move. When G said flowers, you should have said you're welcome. Oh, here's the receipt from the florist.
Jehovah has made me very happy, Dr. Turner.
What will you name your son?
John Andrew Wilson.
That's a handsome name.
John means God is gracious.
Mary, I just had a talk with your husband. There were some complications after the delivery. Your uterus wouldn't contract. I did everything I could, Mary. I'm afraid... Yes? There was excessive blood loss. Your pressure dropped, and I was forced to make a very difficult decision.
You promised you wouldn't give me blood.
I didn't. I performed a hysterectomy. Please understand I had no other option. You would have lost your life.
Then John will be my one and only?
Yes.
The judicial decisions of Jehovah are true. They have proven themselves altogether righteous. In the keeping of them, theirs is a large reward. I've already received 8 pounds of my reward right here and now. God truly is gracious, Dr. Turner. Thank you.
Lucy? Are you... Never seen the side of you. Vulnerable, sensitive, pathetic. Hey, sorry I tried putting the squeeze on you.
It's not your fault. I'm real good at giving people the wrong idea.
We all do that.
You don't. You're upfront about being
An oinkster? I know.
You show your uncertainty, your insecurity. May I just shut out everyone before they can get close?
You have that other side, too. At your grandmother's birthday party, you're willing to have spontaneity thrust on you. You and I would never be here if it weren't for your heat-seeking libido.
Look how that backfired.
I didn't touch you there. Listen, I never intended to breathe a word, but ever since I struck midnight in a clam barrel, you've been slapping me silly. And I've been taking it because I understood your pain and your embarrassment. But this morning, whew, you just pushed too hard.
I'm sorry.
Well, me too. That's spilling the beans, not the seeds.
Thanks, Victor.
Anytime, any place.
Let's quit while we're ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great bureaucracy they've got here. Takes 2 weeks to get your severance pay.
Some red roses for a blue lady?
No thanks, Seth.
I still think Auslander and Westfall gave you a bum deal, suspending you from the residency program.
What can I do?
Well, I know what you mean. They kept me in there for an hour. As punishment, I gotta write out all the patient forms for the last 2 years.
Well, all that's left is to turn in my name tag.
Where are you going?
Right now, back to Wisconsin. Love the fall there.
Yeah, well, the suspension's not forever. You'll get the time out.
You know, you said we'd stick together. Why'd you stab me, Seth?
I don't know. I want to be a doctor so badly, I panic. I get scared.
The way they run their stupid hospital. I've been up 3 days straight. I've just seen 12 patients. As if being exhausted and starving makes you a better doctor.
Well, the system forces us to think of ourselves first. In order to help other people, I have to be selfish. I'm sorry you took the fall. Because I really like you. The pity is none of this would have happened if you hadn't killed the guy.
Watch out, Seth. Because someday when you've forgotten about how you ruined me, I'm gonna get you.
You okay? Oh, really? I spoke to Dr. Kosher about the surgery. God gets around. It's kind of you not to say I told you so. Were you raised in the faith? In Vietnam, my parents were subjected to persecution. Taught me to be careful, keep up with the latest dogma. Each ruling nation imposed its own religion. The French were their Catholic missionary, and British Anglican. I learned to observe, but never to believe. No Constance. Nothing dependable. Except the war god. I was raised Baptist. Where I grew up, my world revolved around the church. And singing in the choirs and Sunday suppers. When her placenta wouldn't separate, I couldn't stop the hemorrhaging. I had the power to determine whether a woman could give birth again. In the moment I had blood on my hands, I thought about the blood and its extraordinary function. You did the best you could in a no-win situation. What kind of power is there in knowing you can destroy trust? You can break your word. And yet you worship a higher mind who wields its force arbitrarily. Where was your God where you needed him? Oh, he was right there with me all along, Paul, and I felt him. I felt him kick my butt.